Oil prices, let's have a talk about them now. 7-year highs. Petrol's going through the roof here in Australia. In Sydney, the average price for regular unleaded soared to more than 170 cents a litre. In Melbourne, more than 174 cents, 176 in Brisbane. Some of the analysts are even saying it'll crack the $2 threshold per litre very, very shortly. Let's get his take. Let's bring in my friend, broadcasting legend, host of Alan Jones, here with us now on that and everything else. This energy crisis, we know what's happening in the UK. We've got all these defence and strategic issues with China. Alan, we're drowning in trillions of dollars of debt after this pandemic. So is this the right time, do you think, for the PM to go to Scotland with an uncosted climate policy that his own quiet Australians voted against at the last election?
It's laughable. I heard your comments before. The base is angry, palpably angry. And as I said earlier, you know, you've only got to have a look at when the Australian newspaper on Friday printed the story that at last Morrison said he's going to Glasgow. Go and have a look at the online comments, and if the Prime Minister's staff aren't looking at this stuff and understanding the anger that's out there, it is scarifying. And the oil price, or the petrol price, is a metaphor of the Glasgow problem. What has happened is that the oil price since last October has gone up by 120%. Now, the oil companies can see this train wreck coming down the road, coming down the rail, because basically banks and shareholders have got all fuzzy and green about net zero carbon dioxide emissions. They can't get finance. And they're saying, well, if we're going to be rubbed out of the game, if the oil industry is going to be rubbed out of the game by Glasgow, we've got to stop production. And production has been reduced. And anyone knows whether it's bananas, potatoes or oil, if you've got less of it, the price goes up. And that's exactly where we are now. And many of these oil wells have closed production. They've stopped actually exploring based on the fact that they can't get the money to continue on. And so it's a very difficult set of circumstances here. And China's just laughing all the way to move further internationally.
And they're not going to go to Glasgow. No. There's every bit of evidence that Prime Minister Modi won't go to Glasgow.
No,
nothing
India
Australia does, even if we junk our economy, which is where we're headed, even if we do all of that, we don't make a scrap of difference. So this is a capitulation of the right, the centre-right in this country, to the policies of the centre-left. And I just think it's damning to have occurred or looking like it will occur so close to an election.
The National Party, you're dead right, the National Party is the hope of the side here. I mean, what do people say? We've got the best thermal coal in the world. Thermal coal is the coal that's used to produce electricity. It is now increased by 185%. It's at its highest level ever. The same is true of metallurgical coal, which actually is used for iron and steel, which makes wind turbines. And then, of course, if we're going to go down the renewable route, then we find that China makes 70% of the world's solar panels and has 5 of the top 7 companies in the world that make wind turbines. We're just playing into their hands. The thing will come to know, you know what happens here, Peter. The communique from Glasgow is written before they go to Glasgow. And it cannot achieve anything while you've got the principal emitters in the world outside the tent. And thank God that they are outside the tent. For us, Glasgow is a national economic suicide note, and I've been saying it for years and years.
And you're spot on, and we'll get more of all of that at 8 o'clock, which I will be watching you then. Alan Jones, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.